And that applies to this music thing. If you want to succeed at this, you're going to need to work. You're going to lose sleep. It's going to be difficult. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to be nervous going and talking to people. You're going to have self-doubt. It's like, should I post this? Or like, is this song going to do well? I don't know. Am I going to fail? I don't know, but I have to get through this because it's worth it. And so when I look at fitness of saying like, hey, I want to be in shape for the rest of my life. For me personally, like I want to be in shape for not only my family, for my kids, and hopefully like my kids' kids, you know, like I want to be as healthy as long as it possibly can. You know, like I'm in this for the long term, and that goes for not just fitness, but also music. They go hand in hand. And I mean, it also doesn't help for marketing, you know, like the whole sex appeal type of thing. Like if you can use that to your advantage, why not? You know, I'm just saying that.
My whole thing is I am naked.
You're good. All right. You know exactly what I'm telling you about.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Free Yourself podcast. I am so excited to show you guys this episode. So with my man, Will Richardson, AKA Dromer. He's got a song right now that's called Under the Stars. It's charting #2 release on Beatport right now. When we recorded it, it was #3. So we're hoping to, I want to get this video out so we can hopefully push some more, promotion his way and get more people to Beatport to buy it. We want to get it to #1, of course. Obviously, it's it's so awesome. I love this guy. I know him from Cosmic Academy. We match, our energy matches so well. Like we're both high energy and we're both people that make music and that work out a lot. And we talk about that a lot and the different benefits that you get from how it translates from your life, everyday life to music production and things like confidence, like just being able to sit down at your workstation and know, or get in your digital audio workstation and like know that you already moved for the day, like or know that later in the day you're going to work out, like, and having that plan, like, because sitting at a desk for so long, we all know how bad it is for us, right? So like knowing that we have that escape and that we're gonna be able to move is so important, and it translates to so many different things. Now, one thing I can tell you from personal experience, like physical health, mental health, when they're good, I feel great. I'm good. I'm fun to be around. I can get more stuff done. I'm more productive. I'm able to think and speak like this, like high energy. But when my physical health or mental health, either one is in the shitter, like all I want to do is lay on the freaking bed, watch Netflix, and just, I feel like shit. So I don't want to do anything. And that sets you back so far in so many different things. And like, obviously, if you do get sick, like take care of yourself, right? I first and foremost, but like the more effort you put into taking care of yourself every day, with whether it be exercise, nutrition, yoga, meditation, all these different things that I like to combine for my clients, at least, it's so important that you do something, like move, get sunlight, eat real whole foods, right? Those are like the three most basic things I can say. If you do those three things, like you're pretty solid. And Will he's got such a big heart. This dude is such a good guy. We got a lot of connection. Like I said, we match energies a lot, but also he lives in Atlanta, and one of my dearest, oldest friends from college lives down there, and he's the guy, CJ Midnight Panda. He's the guy who freaking got me into DJing and producing and stuff. So it's like he's got a special place in my heart for that. So don't forget, everybody, go get Under the Stars by Dromer on Beatport. Let's get it to #1, baby. Hell yeah. For yourself, episode 139 with Will Richardson, Dromer. Yeah, it's 139 because Eckhouse is 138. Hell yeah. Love you guys. Welcome back, everybody, to the Free Yourself podcast. My name is Ryan Janni, and I am naked. And today we have another incredible guest, my man, William Richardson, aka Dromer, who has a new release out currently at #3. Hopefully by the time this comes out on Monday, it'll be at number one.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed. Everybody, go buy the track. Dromer, let's talk about this track. First off, name of the track and what was the inspiration for this track?
So it's actually it's called Under the Stars. And so it actually, my biggest influence is Andrew Bayer, without a doubt. Okay. He's one of my all-time favorite artists. And I just started writing different chord progressions. I was like, okay, this one right here was just it was really, really, really just emotional to me. Like I really, really liked it. It caught up with me. And so I just started building it, and it really just all came together. I was like, this is just inspiring me. It feels like I'm about to go into space right now. That's literally like, I didn't plan it to be like a spacey type of theme, and it just kind of came together. And then all of a sudden it was just, this track was born. I was like, this is beautiful. Like, I love this. And that's pretty much it, man. I was pretty stoked that it all came together, and thus now we have a kick butt track, and that's really all there is to it, man. You know?
Hell yeah. I mean, the results already are speaking for themselves. And isn't that just like so beautiful? We got the results clearly speaking for themselves right now. And it's so awesome to hear like that it doesn't have to be that difficult in like coming up with this crazy theme for a song.
Right.
Like just get in there and start making music, and it'll come. Like
it's really true. I mean, that's the really, really cool aspect about being artists is we're creative people. You know, there's just 1,000 billion different things that inspire us. You know, like some person could be watching a movie scene and be like, wow, that was kick ass. Like, I want to go write a scene to that. And then I'm over here like, I just want to write piano. That's how all of my songs starts. Every single one always starts with the piano melody and chord progressions. That's how I make every song. But that's just how I do it. Everybody's different, you know? And somebody could be like walking down in nature and stuff and be like, I am really inspired right now, and just start humming and be like, holy crap, I just like thought of like the best melody I've ever come up in my entire life. And then boom, there you go. You go build the song, and that's what we do, you know? So
hell yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Hell yeah, man. And we've known each other for quite a bit now. It's been a minute since we got to sit down and talk, man. And I'm really excited. I'm so happy for you with the success of this track. It's awesome, man. And we have a cool link. Like, not only did we both do Cosmic Academy, but like, you know, my ATL fam, all those guys down there, Midnight Panda and all them.
Yes. So, I remember, I totally forgot, dude. I remember when I told you that. I was like, I'm from ATL. And you're like, bro, do you know Sajay? Do you know ATL Panda and everything? And I was like, yeah, I do. He's crazy. I mean, I don't know him super well. You definitely know him way better than I do, but that dude's honestly a big inspiration to me. Like, he was there way before I ever started, you know, and he's been a staple in the Atlanta industry for a minute now. And he's always like, I've always given him props because he's always stood up for like what's right. In my opinion, there's so much stupid drama in the ATL scene. It gets crazy sometimes, but he's a good dude. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's getting married this weekend. I know that'll be after this or before this comes out, but after we record it. Yeah, he's getting married. We went down to Nashville for his bachelor party, and
nice.
Yeah, it was sick, man. It was all of us. So like, all of us either grew up playing hockey or were huge hockey fans. And
okay, gotcha. Yeah,
that's how me and Sajay even met. Like, he was my goalie at Westchester University.
Yo, I did not know that.
Wow, yeah, okay. Dude. So he moved down. He's also like was the first person that inspired me to start DJing. So like,
wow,
dude, I love that guy to death. And we had such a great time in Nashville. Saw the Predators versus Lightning Stadium Series Winter Classic thing. So it was like, that's why like the hockey connection was it was so prevalent. We all wore Mighty Ducks jerseys.
Oh my God, dude, that's sick. That is so sick. I love that. Dude, that's so
it was awesome. Because we're all fans of like not of Nashville or Tampa Bay, and we're like, we're not gonna wear like Devils jerseys, and Atlanta Thrashers jerseys, and Red Wings jerseys. Like, let's all wear Mighty Ducks jerseys.
Mighty Ducks jerseys. Oh my God, dude. But clearly you guys are hockey fans, which is that's pretty damn awesome, dude. Actually, that's pretty funny.
Hell yeah, man. It was a great time. But I want to talk to you about the Atlanta scene, because your music is, so obviously we both know what's big in Atlanta is trap music, right? Like
it's the headbanger stuff and everything, which is hilarious because that's what I grew up on. And so, yes, I'm a trance guy. Yes, I love melodies and stuff like that. But like most people don't know, I am a huge bass head. Okay. And so you'll see me like if I'm on stage, like I'm playing my trance music, people like their hands up in the air, they're vibing, playing like all these beautiful melodies. But like if I'm getting off stage and I'm in Atlanta, like I'm just jamming my head to the bass stage. I'm just this tall ass 6'5" guy just in the middle of the crowd going hard, dude. I love the Atlanta scene a lot. It's one of my oh my God, it's great. I do.
Hell yeah, man. The two time or 3 times that I went down. One was for Tomorrow World. That was
wow. Okay, so that was a little bit back, but even still, damn, that's
yeah. And even before that, I went down. We went to Sage A won the like contest to get a set at Counterpoint. So that was even the year before Tomorrow World.
Yeah.
So we all went down and supported him then.
Nice.
And I forget the name of the festival, but it was his first festival gig, and it was in Kennesaw.
It wasn't Imagine, was it?
No, it wasn't Imagine, but it was something.
There's like Shaky Beats and different ones like that. I'm pretty sure he's played. I forget. He's played Shaky Beats. I know he has.
Yeah, well, he plays Imagine every year now,
right?
too.
No, the dude plays like everything. I said, when I say he's a staple in like the ATL scene, he is, and he's good. You know, there's a reason for it. You don't play all these different shows. You don't like have this massive just connections if you're not good. You know, he's proved himself 1,000 billion different times over at this point. You know,
hell yeah, man. And so the reason why I wanted to bring that up is like we all know that it's such a bass music heavy city, but obviously you make trance music. So how did that come about? Like, how did you go from you're going to shows, you're headbanging and stuff to making trance music?
That's an easy one. Okay, so actually when I first started out, like my very first gig, and this was actually thanks to Cosmic when they taught us like how to go out and get a gig. I wasn't even really making trance or even playing trance. Okay, my first show, it was terrible, god awful. I wish I could never. I wish it never happened, but it did. I was playing like big room house and progressive stuff, like, you know, the whole on Hardwell, Revealed, everything like that. That's what got me into the EDM scene, you know. But the more and more that I progressed and just kept on continuing making music, the more that I realized, like, hey, I really have a passion for this. Like, I loved Armin van Buuren, all these different big name, like the mainstream trance guys, but I didn't really know much about the scene. And then it just kind of expanded. And as I continued progressing, continued building my sound, I started realizing, like, hey, this is truly what I love to do, you know? And then I realized, crap, this is trance in the ATL scene. This is, it doesn't really work. This is what I love to do, but it is a pain in the butt sometimes to get gigs or different stuff like that in the ATL scene for that exact reason. But what's cool with that is I'm not the only one. You know, there's actually, believe it or not, there's a big trance family in Atlanta, and it's grown a lot, which I'm very, very excited about. If you go look at some of the, like the biggest clubs, they're bringing in all kinds of different trance DJs. Like we've got Alpha 9 coming in. We just had Audion. We've had Lane 8 just came in. We've had Armin multiple times here. Like all these different big trance names, they're here. And the reason for that is because so many people have shown like, hey, we'll actually come out to trance shows. And that's something I love about the trance community is, above anything, the trance community is one of like the most supporting, loyal, like incredible people I've ever met in my entire life. Hands down. Like if you're out there, you need water, there's like people, they've got like jugs, whatever you want. Like they're like, you hydrated, you good. They're like waving, checking us, fanning us, like checking your eyes. Like, are you good? Is this guy good? Good. All right. You vibing? Yes. Nice. All right, let's go. You know, and they always support each other. They've always watched out for each other. And I cannot thank the Atlanta scene enough. From it, without them, I would not be anywhere. I would not have a name. I would not be where I'm at right now. And I'm not even like super duper far, but without them, nothing. And so I thank them every day. They're great people. I've gone to different, like they'll always throw like little mini house parties at just different things. Like we're a big knit family and I love them for that, you know?
Well, it's really cool because trance is actually like one of the original EDM genres. Like over in Europe, back when we called it, like everything that was electronic music was techno way back in the, you know, like that's, even though techno is a very specific genre and there's so many subgenres of that, like, you know, like we know that now, but like it's cool because like what made it big, what made electronic music big over here, at least from my own point of view, was seeing those guys that were making trance make not like commercial pop stuff, but more like big room type of stuff.
Yeah.
And the whole Dutch house scene kind of really brought it over here, and that like made the boom of the music festival scene. And then that's when like festival trap remixes and all that stuff came around. So now, you know, Justin always talks about it, like genres come back around, and and now I'm seeing a lot of trance and techno artists that are getting, you know, a lot of play. And like, of course, Armin's A State of Trance, Armada, it'll always be, not, you know, never. I like to speak in absolutes sometime, but like it'll always be like one of the top, you know, record labels and radio shows and all that stuff. And so you've got like still such a tight knit community, and one of the oldest communities in electronic music. And now when you do have people that like trance, I like to think like same trance and techno fans, they're the fans that like either they've liked this music for a long fucking time, or they got into EDM because of like the big boom that happened over here, and then they got deeper and deeper and deeper into the genre, and then they found what they really love. So now they just support it full fledged. So like you're hitting the nail on the head with how like supportive, and it's because I feel like they hold that genre like so close to their heart. And it's all about like beautiful, loving music.
Right. It really is. And one of my all-time favorite things about trance, and I mean, you can say this for a lot of different genres, but trance, especially in particular, is because there's so many different subgenres, just so many different versions of trance. There's really something for everybody, you know? And I'll go through that. Like if I have like somebody who, I love doing this, okay? I'll like convert headbangers. It's one of my favorite things. Like I'll have them and they're out here listening to like Excision and whatever, you know? And I'll be like, okay, let me throw some tracks at you, know, start throwing them like different versions of trance. Like, do you like this one? Do you like this one? They're like, no. Ooh, hey, I kind of like that one, you know? And then I'll start like going down the rabbit hole with them. I'm like, okay, check out this artist, check out this one. And then I'll come back in like a couple months and they're like, bro, let me tell you. And I was like, I'm telling you, man, there's something for everybody. It's really, really, really cool. And I fully agree with you about genres coming back around, because I start paying attention to different things. Like if you look at like the Ophelia label with people like Seven Lions and stuff like that, they're making so many big like crossovers. If you have that melodic dubstep, but it's got like crazy killer like psytrance just drops and all these different things, and the crowd's loving it, dude. You know, and so I'm looking at him saying like, y'all are only just stepping into the door. There's so much out there. This genre, like you were saying, it's been around for so long. It's so big. If you just take a look, I promise you there's something in there for everybody.
Absolutely, man. And the making trance music, that opens the door for, because America has all these festivals and stuff, but people don't realize that are in this bubble of America of like how many big, huge festivals there are around the world that trance is the number one thing they love. So you're opening the door for you to get free or even paid for trips to freaking Europe and all this stuff, man.
That's the goal. And I mean, honestly, dude, if you look at like these big festivals, if you look at like Ultra, EDC, or different ones, like there's always an Injuna stage for like all the above and beyond trance heads. There's always a State of Trance stage. And I'm telling you, like every big one, if you just go look, and they normally have it on the roster, a State of Trance stage, Injuna stage, something like that, go crazy. Like it's packed to the brim, just full of crazy trance head, like let's go insane. Like you had actually my good friend Taylor Torrance. You obviously know Taylor too.
Hell
he
yeah.
was closed for Armin over in California. They were throwing a State of Trance. It was a State of Trance. I think it was the 1000. Over there, and he just closed for him. I was like, that's insane. It's crazy, and like people packed out the place. It was huge, you know. And all of them just going insane to trance music. So I really think it's growing, and there's a massive following for it. So I would never want to ever change anything. This is my calling. This is the music, and I'll love it to the day I die.
Hell yeah, man. And to your point about the about Seven Lions and stuff dropping side trance, like I literally, my buddy, he makes melodic bass. Like that's his genre. And when he opened for I forget. See, this sometimes sometimes the shows go a little too late for me. And so like I'll go support my boys who are opening, and then I'll dip out. But in his set, he had some kind of remix with a side trance drop. And the headliner was like a bass DJ, and the crowd went ape shit.
I love it because I personally, in my opinion, I think it's a beautiful combination. I do, because obviously, like growing up in Atlanta, I'm a huge bass head, and so I love melodic dubstep a lot. I'm a huge Seven Lions fan, a huge Ophelia fan. My playlist is loaded full of that stuff, but it's always really, really cool because it's a change of pace. You've got that 1/4, that boom, boom with the kick and the snare. And then all of a sudden it switches to that 4/4 with that, and everybody's just like, whoa, I was not expecting that. And just all of a sudden the bass is just like destroying your body and everybody's just going insane. It's crazy, man. So I love seeing that reaction. It's always so much fun. It catches people off guard because you're not expecting it,
Hell yeah, man. And like me being a guy who plays pretty much just house music and even leaning even more towards tech house, like when now I'm seeing a lot of tech house artists drop like drum and bass and stuff too. And it's like they're going hand in hand, and it's always so cool because me and as a DJ, these BPMs that are of drum and bass and tech house are so different. So you're seeing a DJ like execute the flawless transition. You're like, come on, is he gonna do it? Yeah.
And it kind of blows your mind. You're like, how did he just pull that off? The dude went from like 100 and something BPM to like 140, to like 170 or whatever it is. It's like, that was okay. I don't know what in the world. He's probably doing it at halftime, but even it's crazy sometimes. And that kind of brings up another point in the EDM world. Everybody's always preaching like make your own sound, and I think it's true because you have so much creativity in the EDM world. You can do so much. You can combine anything. We've got EDM combined with country music. We've got EDM combined with rap music. Like, I don't care what it is. If you can find a way to do it, pull it off, you can make a niche for yourself. You start talking about like people with Kygo, with like tropical house when that blew up. That made him huge because he decided to add house with like freaking steel drums and like tropical beach vibes, and people were like, what in the world is this? You got Avicii out here dropping country with EDM with kick drums in it, and you're like, hell yeah, this is crazy, but it's amazing. And so if you want to put house and tech house with drum and bass, go crazy, man. You can do it. You want to mix melodic dubstep with psytrance, go crazy. You can do it in this genre. It's up to you. It's up to your creativity of how far you want to pull it. It's up to you, man. You are limitless. It's just go do it. Get creative. Find some fun ways and make something cool.
Hell yeah, man. And it's so cool that we have this amazing community in Cosmic. So like, because there's people that make every kind of music in there, and you can say I wanted to learn how to like what it takes to make drum and bass and stuff. Like I can hit them up, and I can be, and maybe it'll even end up as a collab and stuff like that. And it's freaking, it's so cool, man. But I also want to pivot because I want to talk. It's so cool to hear the story of like how us DJs and stuff got into electronic music, because none of us grew up with it. We pretty much all like, well, for me, like it was all the 90s hip hop and stuff that I loved. And like I had my dad playing classic rock and stuff that I didn't really fully appreciate until college, but it was in college when I found electronic music. So take me through that process for you. Like what was William Richardson growing up listening to, and then how did it go into electronic music?
I've got you. I've got the entire thing. I'll tell this story all the time. Okay. So I guess my story is a little opposite with you. I always had EDM in my life.
No way.
I did not know it was EDM.
Okay.
And it was like really crappy EDM, even though that's like, I feel like that's terrible to say because it's not crappy EDM. It's just like growing up. Okay. My first thing was starting with like things like the hamster dance song. Do you know, like like those type of things, you know, and like the gummy bear song and all these different things. And I'm running around the house as a little kid, just jamming into it. And then it progressed to things like Bass Hunter and Cascada with like every time we touch, you know, like those type of things. And so like I'm out here burning CDs with like a little Walkman, and I still remember like going and doing chores with all these little burned CDs, and it progressed from like these random like YouTube videos that always had a beat, always had these little synthesizers in it, like Crazy Frog and different things like that from when I was a little kid. And I had no idea. I was like, hey, this is kind of like EDM-ish. And then it progressed into, like I was saying, the bass hunter genre and all that stuff, like the hands up, very European, super synthy stuff. And I was jamming to that. And then it progressed to, I started finding people like Hardwell and Tiesto and stuff. And that's when I really came in back into like the 2010, 2011 era, was when I progressed into it. And I realized, oh, wow, there's a whole, like, what is this stuff? This is crazy. Yeah. This is really, really, really cool. And then it progressed into like the massive, like 2014 boom of like progressive house and big room. And I was obsessed. Like I'll go through old playlists that I listened to. I was like, what was I listening to back then? My music taste has changed so much. But like I remember jamming to that stuff and just going insane. And now it just continually progressed. Like I said, I was huge into Armin van Buuren and all these different things. And I started realizing like, hey, I really, really, really like this stuff. And so that's really how I got into the EDM scene. But the music, like actually producing music, that's different. That one, I was always a very creative person. You know, I drove my parents insane, taking things apart, trying to build stuff, pissing off my parents because they're like, dude, just like calm down, please. I'm like, no, I gotta go. I was running around annoying everybody, you know, but I always had this creative aspect to me. And so me being a big guy, I'm 6'5", big build. I always played sports throughout my entire life, you know? And so everybody's like, this guy, he's going to be a college athlete, all of these different things. He's going to go the NFL, all to do these, whatever. But they never really saw me in my basement playing piano. You know, I'd be out there doing practices and running, playing all these different sports and low key wishing like, I don't want to be here. Like, I want to be just playing piano. I want to be doing these different things. Like I loved it. And so I got sick of not being able to play piano. And so I actually went to, there was a piano school here in my city. And I said, hey, teach me, I'll pay you. And so I started learning. And I still remember I almost busted up into tears, dude, that day. I walked out of that piano lesson and like, I just knew, I was like, this is what I was meant to do. Because he literally sat there and he just showed me like, hey, this is how you start like structuring chords and different things like that. And I realized, hey, I can take my creativity of wanting to make stuff and my love for music and combine it, you know? And so that started shooting off different things. And lo and behold, everything kind of lined up because my dad, he does voiceovers. And so, yeah. And so my dad, he bought like Pro Tools. Okay. Way back in the day. And I still remember my dad getting Pro Tools. He didn't know anything about DAWs. He didn't know anything about music production. He just knew that was a standard, the industry standard. And so he got the LE version of Pro Tools and opened it up. And it was like, this is confusing as hell. I don't know what, what in the world to do. As we all know, it is very daunting when you first open up a DAW.
Oh, yeah.
And I still remember being like, what is this? This is kind of cool, man. I want to figure this thing out. And so I started tinkering around with it and started doing it. And I started realizing like, hey, like I can plug up my keyboard to this thing. So I plugged my keyboard into, and I started realizing like, hey, I can play sounds with this. What is going on? This is so cool. And all of a sudden I just started learning and I made like my first song, and God forbid nobody in the right mind ever hears that because it is the most abomination like that has ever existed in this entire world. It is terrible on like every level. Like I'm so like, this is where I started. Like I'll save it one day. I'll let the world hear it one day, you know, but not now. But it just progressed from there, you know? And so I still remember sitting, on like this really old crappy laptop desktop computer that had no capability for producing music, you know, any of this stuff, and just realizing like, hey, I love this. This is cool. And so then I started doing research, started learning, started just diving in. And so when I graduated high school, actually, I bought myself my first MacBook. So I saved up money, bought my first MacBook, bought Logic, and I said, I'm going in. Let's go. And so then I just dove in and started learning Logic because I actually, the reason I picked Logic was because of Hardwell. I was a Hardwell fanboy to the day I die. and Hardwell produces on Logic. And so I bought the exact same audio interface that Hardwell had. Everything, whatever Hardwell was doing, that's what I bought. That's what I did. Whatever VST or plugins he had that I'd see on his tutorial, that's what I was buying. And so I got all of those, and it's just really it. The story goes from there. I just kept on producing songs, just slowly getting better. Granted, they were terrible at first. There's still so many. I've just got a stack of just old songs from when I first started. Dude, it was bad. Like I had a bunk bed, and I still remember sitting under the bunk bed. I had these old crappy speakers that were propped up underneath books. I didn't know anything about sound design, anything about sound acoustics, nothing about mixing at all. Like the worst type. Like I was using like my laptop speakers to try and listen to stuff. I had like crappy old like dollar store earbuds, just trying to like learn this stuff. I didn't know anything. And I just kept on going. And now I've invested so much money into this. I've built up everything. I love it, and till the day I die, this will be what I want to do. I cannot imagine ever doing anything. And I'm just going to keep going, keep learning. Cause obviously, as you know, in music production, there are 1,000 different things that you can learn. You're never done learning.
Oh, yeah.
Like I still get blown away. I'll go watch some guy who's like, here's how I made this sound. And he does like 50, 60 different things in a synth. And I'm like, I've had this synth for like 5-6 years. I didn't even know it could do that.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, man. But yeah, my journey's not over. I've got a long way to go, but I'm gonna keep going. I love this stuff, and I'm gonna just inspire people. I want to keep going.
Well, speaking of Hardwell, I'm sure you know about his return to Ultimate Music Festival.
Dude, I was not ready for that. I was like, I was wondering, because he kind of pulled a Swedish House Mafia on us where he said like, I'm done, I'm retired. And then there was enough people that were like, please let you come back. And he was like, all right, I'm coming back. But he said, I'm not coming back as who you think I am. I'm coming back as like techno god, and he did. I love his songs. I think they're jamming, I think they're killer. And it kind of brings back to the point of what you're talking about of genres coming around. All of a sudden you've got Hardwell back on the scene, and he's jamming out techno instead of big room house. Like that's a very big indicator that, hey, we've kind of come circle, and techno's a big deal right now,
Yeah. And he clearly has not, he might have taken a little bit of time off.
Oh yeah, no.
Clearly, revealed recordings are still going, like
right.
all that stuff. So like,
yeah,
clearly Hardwell has got, a catalog of shit to come back with. And
I agree. I didn't even think about that. Of all the multiple years that he's just been running Revealed or doing whatever he's doing, just traveling, chilling out. Like when you get into music production, you don't really, if you're on his level, you don't necessarily do it just for like the money and fame. Like you do it because you love producing music.
Yeah.
So, like even if you're done touring, you're still a musician. You're still going to get that itch, that craving to make that music, And so even if you're behind the scenes, exactly what you're talking about, I didn't even think about that. He's still producing because he loves it. He's still making tracks, and Hardwell's good at making tracks. And so
one of the things that made me respect him so much more was when I found out that he personally masters all the songs that come out on Revealed.
I did not know that.
So this was also, I found this out, this was when he was still touring, like 5 years ago and stuff. I found this out way back then and it might have changed because, Hardwell became one of the biggest DJs in the friggin' world. And maybe it wasn't just, maybe he, found, that was too much and all that. But also like we really have Hardwell is so important to the history of electronic music.
Agreed.
For the one simple fact of like, he was the first guy to do the whole, if you like and follow this, you'll get my track for free type of thing.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. So like he was the first one that would really like pioneered the whole, like, here's the song. And when you download it, you'll like and follow all my socials and stuff like that. So like, that's like a pinnacle of like what of how so many people grow in this industry. And like, now it's morphed into, instead of like following you on some sort of social media and stuff, it's more of like when you pre-save on Spotify, you're now following on Spotify. So then the next song that you come out will come out on the upcoming release or the release radar. That's what it's freaking called.
Right.
And like things like that. So like all of these things are really possible because Hardwell had this idea way back, 10 years ago to do this. And like, it's so like, me and a bunch of my friends were at my apartment in Philly, and we're all watching, the Ultra live stream and stuff. And we're all like, big room house and progressive is done. Like, what is Hardwell gonna do? And like, and we're all just sitting there like, damn, Hardwell.
Bro, I still remember like my feed when Hardwell came out, dude. My Facebook feed was just like, everybody was like, what? Y'all seeing this? No, okay, I'm not tripping. Like he's playing that, right? That's Hardwell. Okay, all right, dude, cool. This is legit.
And they did the whole right before he came out. It was like a fake out with the Swedish House Mafia like new album preview.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, oh, what the fuck? And then it's like Hardwell, and everyone's like, oh my god. But I will give it to my buddy Sirach. Shout out to Sirach, because he told me 2 or 3 days before that he saw something that hinted that it would be Hardwell would be like the secret. Okay. So like we were all kind of like, when they were playing the Swedish House Mafia thing, we're like, is it Swedish House Mafia or is it still? And then Hardwell came out. We're like, oh shit. So I'll give it to Sirach. He called that shit.
That's pretty sick. And I always love that artists will do that. Of like, they'll give you like little hints, and it's just kind of fun, like us as fans, we're like digging into it, and we start like theorizing and being like conspiracy theorists. And we're like that meme of that guy with all the stuff on the board, and he's looking at it like pointing like, this could lead to that, and this could mean that Hardwell actually comes out, Mm-hmm.
So, right, with the pins and the
exactly.
You know what all that.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm talking about,
dude. It's cool to have him back, and I am really excited to hear what he's come up with and what he's made since he's been gone, and like because I mean, he's one of the people I remember back in like, I guess it was 2013, 2014 when I saw on Netflix there was like a whole thing dedicated to the Dutch producers, and like there was a thing on Sidney Sampson and a thing on Afrojack and Tiesto, and then it was on Hardwell. And at the time, Hardwell was still living with his parents when this was made. I don't know if it probably wasn't 2013, 2014 when it was made, but that's when I saw it. And he was still living with his parents and still at his studio at his parents' house. Yeah. And they talked about his history on how he like, he was making like compilation albums, like how like Kids Bop is a thing, and then the freaking like jams thing. I forget now music. That's what it was back in the day. Yes. So he was doing something like that in the Netherlands, and so like that's how he kind of built his name and his following, and then he started coming out obviously with his own music, and the rest is freaking history. I mean, the man is he's a legend, and everyone that's in electronic music really needs to pay their respects to that man, because he pioneered the way for so many of us, man.
And that kind of brings up of old Sensei Justin, what he's always teaching about, of saying like, hey, don't be just like bashing these different artists because they're doing like these different genres, and they're like, oh, he's not sticking to these, what his true roots of. Like, you got people who were bashing Avicii, people who were bashing Tiesto for leaving trance and all these different things. And you're like, look, there are artists that are allowed to go do what they need to do, but you need to realize that like, hey, we would not have this scene without these big guys paving the way for us. I would not be able to do what I'm doing right now without them. And I love them for it. They showed the world, hey, this is what we can create, and this is an amazing genre, and they brought it full mainstream to everybody. It used to be just this underground thing that like, if you knew what EDM was and you knew what DJs were, like you knew about it. But if you didn't, the hell is an underground rave? Like, I don't know, And so now you turn for a circle and you've got DJs playing at the Olympics, you've got all these playing like massive Super Bowl halftime shows. Like, you kidding me? You fast forward 10, 15 years ago, no way in hell was that happening, And so, I give them massive respects for that. I will thank them to the day I die. Hopefully I'll get to thank them one day in person. That's my goal. We'll see.
Yeah, right. And I'll be the first to admit, like younger me, like 23, 24-year-old me, when I was, just getting out of college, like I was that guy that would trash on artists. Cause I'm like, once I got to, I started liking another genre, then I'm like trashing all these guys and I'm trashing all these pop music people and like now, I've realized like no matter what kind of music you make, if you're making a living doing it, like I should be looking at what you're doing and trying to learn from it. Because like everybody, no matter what music you make, whether you like it or not, like as a producer, as a DJ, like I have to look and see what they did to become more successful. And like even if it's the whole lesson with from Justin, like if you can hum it, and if someone's humming your song after you play it for them, you got something. Like that's the basic, not the basic premise, but we're oversimplifying, right? We're speaking in absolutes, right? We're oversimplifying, but like that's a big part of pop music and all this stuff. And like no matter what we say about how great this music that we love is, like pop is still the number one genre. Hip hop is still way bigger than electronic music in the world. And like, we have to learn from all these artists and stuff. So like what I also want to pivot again. I want to also talk because you are another man that is a producer, but also played a lot of sports and continues to crush the friggin' gym. So I want to talk to you about your sort of like how I want to bring it to really focus on music though. I want to ask you like, how do you think it's helped you with your lifestyle in your music production?
A massive amount. Okay. First of all, in my opinion, like being in good shape and really focusing on just like your physique and trying to look good gives you a massive confidence boost. And in the music industry, if you can do anything to boost your confidence, because it's difficult as hell to go up to talk to people, it really is, and like I can talk to anybody, but that doesn't mean that I'm not nervous. It doesn't mean that like, hey, that's a club owner or promoter that I need to go talk to. That doesn't mean that like my heart's beating out of my chest as I'm walking up to them. Like I'm about to get rejected. I'm about to get like thrown in my face, but I got to do it. And so having that, like that posture walking in the room, like I love that, physique is being in shape has helped me out a ton with just confidence boosts of going up and talking to people. Like I feel confident in myself, but even more than that is just health benefits. Like I feel good, like I like waking up in the morning. I like looking and saying like, dude, you put into all this work, like look what you've achieved. That's something that's really, really, really cool with fitness is the work that you put in. You can directly see the results. It's on nobody but you, and so if you're out there eating correctly and working out hard, you're going to see results. And that lesson right there applies to everything else. That applies to music. If you're not succeeding, a lot of the different things can look back and saying like, hey, am I doing everything that I can? Am I putting in the time that I should be? Am I posting consistently or doing all these different things that will really help you succeed? You really got to focus and say like, hey, I have to take responsibility. And those kind of go hand in hand. And another thing on that aspect is saying being in shape is not easy. It's difficult. You have to push through it. You've got to work, and that applies to this music thing. If you want to succeed at this, you're going to need to work. You're going to lose sleep. It's going to be difficult. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to be nervous going and talking to people. You're going to have self-doubt. It's like, should I post this? Or like, is this song going to do well? I don't know. Am I going to fail? I don't know, but I have to get through this because it's worth it. And so when I look at fitness of saying like, hey, I want to be in shape for the rest of my life. For me personally, like I want to be in shape for not only my family, for my kids, and hopefully like my kids' kids, like I want to be as healthy as long as it possibly can. Like I'm in this for the long term, and that goes for not just fitness, but also music. They go hand in hand. And I mean, it also doesn't help for marketing, like the whole sex appeal type of thing. Like if you can use that to your advantage, why not? I'm just saying that.
My whole thing is I am naked.
You're good. All right. You know exactly what I'm telling you about it. I'm like, this is an asset that I've gained, and it's something that personally I think everybody can gain, of saying like, hey, I'm confident in my skin. This is what I'm doing. And that's not necessarily saying that like you have to be like this Greek god to be confident in yourself. That's not the case. But I'm saying just all these different things add up. So when I look at saying being in like a right state of mind, being healthy, like I love when I get done working out, I feel great, and it's scientifically proven all the different endorphins, all the stress relief that you get after working out, that correlates consistently over to when you go work on music. Like I love, like, especially on weekends, getting up early, going and working out. I feel fantastic for the rest of the day. I'll go work out, get food in me, and I sit down. I'm like, I'm ready to go. I just kicked ass at that workout. I'm feeling great. Let's go kick ass at this song. Let's get this done. Let's go crush those deadlines and let's go make some music. Let's go make some dreams happen, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Crush some deadlifts, then crush some deadlines.
Yeah, there we go. I love that. That's a cool line. I like that. That's a good one, man. That's a really good one.
Hell yeah, man. And I think what so many people don't really understand is like, it's not, even if we take it further than like the whole looking good and feeling good, like it's about, first off, longevity. Like
right.
This is the long game. You know, not everyone releases a song and becomes a freaking megastar right away.
Yeah.
Like there's very few people and outliers, and even they were making music forever before that. It's just the first thing that like we hear. Like the quote of it takes 10 years or 20 years to become an overnight success. Like 100%, man. But when we're playing the long game with this gives us the opportunity to also, we won't be able to continue doing this at this extent and do the things like we see what touring takes the toll on the body. We see, we've seen so many artists that, get caught up in drugs and stuff. And it winds up, first off, so many artists we all know have died because of drugs and living, an unhealthy lifestyle and stuff. And like, it's heartbreaking because we only got to see like a snippet of what they could really do. And like, I am a firm believer in like everything that happens to me is the best thing that can happen to me. And like everything, I don't know if everything happens for a reason, but like everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen. So like maybe that time that artist had on this world and gave us that music, like that's what they were supposed to do. And like, we can get into like the reincarnation and like all the stuff that I love learning about and stuff like, and the eternal soul is like a thing in all religions and stuff. But like to bring it back, like if we want to be successful in this, it's like we don't have to take the example of what like pro athletes do, where they're like, they only have a certain amount of time in the pros and then they have to figure out something else to do. It's like, we can do this. We're sitting at a desk, like making music. And like, if it winds up being to the point where like, we don't want to tour anymore and we don't want to play shows and stuff, well, there's still, you can still make a living doing this because you can produce music for other people. You can continue with lessons. There's so many things. And like the healthier you are, the more opportunity you have to continue doing these things. And like, it's so important for like people to realize like, yes, like for me, especially like being 5'4", I'm not 6'5". When I was younger, I was very insecure about that. And it gave me, especially playing hockey, like it was okay in middle school when not everyone was like over 6 foot tall and stuff. But like, as I got older and I played college hockey, like I needed to get muscle on me to even hang with these people that could just push me around. So like, but it progressed into being like, look, there's so many things, like even as simple as like eating clean enough to get rid of like my asthma, my eczema, like these things that I thought were permanent things in my life. Like when you really eat clean and exercise, so many things in your life can change for the better. And it's like, there's no bad part of like eating healthy and exercising, right? Like there's like, obviously there's, like speaking absolutes, but there's obviously a negative to everything. Right. But like, there's so many things you can gain and so many things you can do and that will benefit you in the long term. And like, we're all, not everyone wants to have kids, but like setting yourself up for the future to be a positive example for them. Like it's so important, man. There's so, you're not what everyone else thinks of you. Right. And like when you exercise and when you eat healthy, like you can really develop like what you really feel and think about yourself. And like that, man, that is the biggest benefit that I got. Like I really got to know myself and figure out who I was through exercise and eating healthy. And now I've started my coaching business as well as doing music. And now I'm not only doing what I love in both areas, like I'm freeing up more time for me to do the things that I love. So like it's benefited me so much. And I see so many people that deal with like mental health issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well,
two of the things that I look at, and these actually always stuck with me, is two artists in particular of Laid Back Luke and Steve Aoki. Okay. Laid Back Luke, one of his favorite quotes, and I remember he posted this in a podcast and I loved it because he was talking about the issue, was saying there will always be another party, you know, that you really need to take care of yourself first. If you're trying to do this in the long run, you have to take care of yourself, you know, and you look at physicality, like that doesn't fully necessarily mean like killing it at the gym. Like you've got a Laid Back Luke, he's got his full kung fu type of thing. It's crazy, dude, you know, and that puts his mind at ease. He's constantly fortifying that mental ability, but he's always keeping his body in shape because he's got a family to take care of. You know, as much as he's a producer and everything, that's also his livelihood. Like he wants to do this for as long as possible, you know, and so he's doing everything he can to make sure like, hey, I'm not going to get distracted by drugs. I'm not going to get distracted by ladies coming up and fawning over me, which I'm sure they do with Laid Back Luke and all these different things like that. You know, he's like, no, I'm going to go back to the hotel, do my job, love what I do, and go back to my family. And then you've got Steve Aoki, which is dude's insane. Dude holds the record for like the most shows per year, you know, like consistently. The amount of shows that Steve Aoki plays is crazy. When you look at like how he does, like he plays more shows than there are days in the year. So that's literally telling you that this guy will go and play like multiple shows a day sometimes. And that takes a very difficult physique to do that. And so you've got Steve Aoki, he's always constantly portraying like the Aoki boot camps and different things like that. He's always posting different videos of him working out and doing everything he can to make sure he stays in shape, because he wants to do this in the long run. And that's something that a message I would give to any producer who's listening to this or any musician, like, hey, touring's not easy, you know? So make sure like while you're focusing and building your brand, building your music and getting ready to blow up and do this stuff, also understand that there's a lot of stuff that we fantasize and what's the word? Like we sugarcoat like what it's like touring, you know, we think it's this crazy magical thing, which it's crazy and fun, but there's a lot of downsides to it. And you need to pay attention and see this exactly like what you're talking about. If it's a clear sign, you look at all these artists backing out with mental just illnesses and different things and saying like, I have to stop. This isn't what I thought it was. You need to be prepared for that. And one of the best ways, in my opinion, is doing something for your health, building up that mental fortitude so that you can push through and know that, hey, I've got this, and your body's going to keep up with you. You can facilitate and build up your mind and build up your body. You can go anywhere. You have the potential to do literally anything. It's on you, but you have to take that time. You have to have that dedication to build yourself up, and it'll pay off in the future 100%.
Dude, that is a hell of a way to wrap this up, man. Thank you so much, Will. I love you to death, man. I'm so happy. Hopefully, you know, we're fingers crossing for it to still climb the charts.
Thank you, man. I'm trying to get to number one if I can pull it off. I'm so close.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. So tell everyone how to get a hold of you. What follow your socials. Tell everyone where to find you.
If you go on Facebook, it should be Dromer Music. I know Instagram is Dromer Music too. You've got me on Spotify, which is Dromer. If you go to SoundCloud, it should be Dromer Music too. I tried to keep it the exact same tag throughout all. If you go to Twitch, mine's Dromer Music, the exact same thing. So you'll see me everywhere, man. I got a lot of work to do, but I'm going at it. I love this stuff, and I'm only just beginning. Wait and see.
Hell yeah, man. Everybody go get his track. Get it on Beatport so we can move it up the friggin' charts.
Let's go.
Hell yeah, brother. I'll put a link to everything and all your socials, most importantly, that song. So, dude, thank you so much for doing this, man. I appreciate you. You're such an inspiration to so many people because you're doing all the right things, right? You're working so hard with your music and you're keeping yourself so freaking healthy. You're just such a good example for people to look up to. So I love you, man. Thank you for so much for doing this.
Appreciate you, man. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad that we pulled this off. This came together like so quickly. I was like, yeah, let's go.
Hell yeah, man. And we can't let this much time go between us talking anymore.
Yeah. No. I've been watching, but I forgot how much I enjoy talking to you and how much like we connect. We have such the same mentality. I would love to keep hanging out with you and stuff like that.
Hell yeah, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Until next time, everybody. Peace, love, unity, respect.
I love it.
We out.
Peace.